friend Matt owns TM Manufacturing, and he is the builder of a number of products, including some amazing wood splitters, and he's also a builder of the Demo Dozer bucket. So a few months ago, Matt called me up and said, I'd like you to review one of my new products. It's called the Spade Blade. So I asked him, I said, so what was your inspiration for building this product? And I said, tell me about the steel. Is it stronger than normal? Tell me about some of the other uses that buyers have told you about this product. And I also said, what makes this product unique? So he wrote back to me, and here's what he said. He said, I made it because it fills a void that no other attachment can fill. It is not designed for any one reason, but rather to be versatile. It is made from grade 50 and grade 80 steel, and is designed for extreme uses. The steel is American made as well. It is used by tree farms, tree services, landscapers, and farmers and ranchers. It's unique because it is like no other attachment. It's a spade shovel with the power of your skid loader. That got me to thinking. So, I don't do a lot of digging jobs, but I have owned a skid steer for 30 years. I owned a couple of bobcats. I'm pretty good with it, so I thought, let's give it a try. And one of the things he told me is go dig out a stump. Well, I've got this stump. It's a big stump. It's a double trunk madrone stump, which is really, really tough. For that, I'm going to start with some of the toughest stuff first. So I got in there and I started digging, and it works really well. The soil here wasn't too bad. I did start off digging in some real rocky soil, and it did okay there. Matt tells me that with this bucket, the Spade Blade, you can dig a hole 5 feet deep, and you're able to put it straight up and down and push it down just like you would a shovel or a spade. And it got me to thinking about, the fact that the bobcat really is like a robot. You've got the strength of 100 men pushing on this shovel, and it's fun. It's got a lot of unique uses for digging. But it's different than a digging bucket because it's more compact, and because it's open at the front and the back, you can push dirt in or pull dirt in. So you can see I worked on this stump here for probably about 45 minutes or so, and I got down about 4 feet all the way around. I really should have started on the backside first because I had a drop off over there. I think I'm probably going to have to get in there and cut a few roots and grind a few roots on the backside before I get this thing out of here. So I decided to go back and do some digging in an area that I had already broken up some of the rocky soil. I thought, what else can I do with this? How well does it work for spreading the dirt back around, or back dragging, or smoothing out an area? So I played with it for a couple of hours here. Altogether, I've probably got about 3 or 4 hours use on it, just learning what it can do. And like I said, I am skilled at using the bobcat, so it didn't take me long to get the hang of it, but not really thoroughly understanding this tool. I had a little bit of a learning curve to figure out what it was really good at doing. So I thought to myself, okay, it's an aggressive tool, but what about detail work? What about working in some fine areas? There's one spot that I want to put in a small retaining wall here, but I don't need to take out too much more dirt. It's almost there, but I wanted to pull out just another 6 to 12 inches or so along the bottom and just kind of smooth out the bottom. And with care and not being too aggressive, you can get in there and work some really tight locations. Like I said, you can either throw the dirt out the front or lift it up and it slides off the backside. So that worked out quite well. Then I thought about what Matt said about going straight down. So I went back over to the stump again, and I'm now shooting all this video from inside the cab. I put the camera on my cap, got a GoPro going so you can see what it's like to be running the machine. I thought this was kind of an interesting perspective. So I'm pushing down on this straight down into the ground, and it works quite well. So I thought to myself, okay, what about trenching? Would it be good for back dragging a trench? So I didn't really need a trench, but I went up to one of my trails and I thought, well, let me play with it for a little bit. And sure enough, it does a pretty good job. I suppose if I went 2 or 3 passes, I could get a trench down quite deep if I wanted to. But I don't need a trench there, so I put the dirt back, and by going back and forth, you can actually smooth out the dirt. And this is an area where I put in a leach field, and it was a little bit soft on top, and I thought, well, I could concentrate all the power of this into one small area. Instead of back dragging a great big bucket, I could just push down the dirt or back drag using this concentrated area, and it worked quite well. There was a high spot, and I thought, well, let me kind of pull off a little bit of dirt here. And the more I use this bucket, the more I realize what he says about it being versatile and having a lot of discoveries. You know, you're going to discover what it's useful for. I had an area where I wanted to level out a little bit of dirt. This is kind of a turnaround spot on one of my trails, and I pushed all the dirt up there with my demo dozer bucket, but I wanted to kind of flatten it out. So because this doesn't overdo it, I could take out a lot of little shovelfuls and kind of smooth it out carefully without ripping it all apart. And then when I was all done doing that, I went back and forth with the bucket to tamp it down and smooth it out, and that worked out quite well. There we go. And you can flatten out some areas pretty well with this bucket. Anyway, I'm impressed. I think this is a pretty cool new tool that Matt's got, and I say check it out.